Hi, the introverted cynist here. Today, I am going to explain a British thriller television film called Cyberbully. Warning, spoilers ahead. Kick back and take care. The film is set in Casey Jacobs' bedroom and happens in real time. Casey, a bitter young teenage girl, faces a problem with her Spotify account while enjoying music. She Skypes Megan Turner, who is Casey's BFF, to inquire about the turmoil. Megan replies, it could be Alex Freeman's doing. Alex is their classmate and a timid hacker. We see Megan get ready on a date while having a conversation with Casey. Just then, Megan checks her Twitter and feels edgy after reading a tweet made by Casey's ex-boyfriend, Nathan. The tweet reveals Casey's antidepressant intake. Casey, after reading the tweet, became speechless and flabbergasted. Megan tries to console Casey and assures her that she has nothing to do with this. Casey believes Megan wholeheartedly. Megan tries to induce a hesitant Casey to use Alex to get revenge upon Nathan and gets Alex into a conference call. Alex turns down Megan's scheme because of the consequences. Megan realizes she is running late and says to text her if she needs any. Emotionally disturbed, Casey tries to compose herself and takes medication to cool off. Just then, a message pops from Alex's chat box saying if he wants revenge. She asks why he changed his mind, to which he replied that Megan has an uncontrollable big mouth and he feels she treats Casey poorly and asks where Megan is. Irritated, she says if he wanted to help her or not. He then sends a link to click, which then brought to Nathan's hacked Twitter account. Astonished with the outcome, she then carefully alliterates about Nathan's erectile dysfunction and tweets it. An overwhelming amount of tweets pours into Nathan's Twitter feed mocking him. Casey, now elated, thanks Alex for the help and gets an incoherent reply from him, which gave an uncertainty in Casey's mind. Just then, Casey tells to Alex to go on Skype with her, but Alex says he is shy, which immediately forced Casey to doubt that the person she is chatting with isn't Alex and asks who he is. Apparently, an anonymous hacker hacked into Alex's profile saying that he helps victims of cyberbullying. In a second, Casey asks him to reveal himself. The hacker now asks if they both are alone and whether the door is shut, to which Casey lied. The hacker ostensibly says that he is a fan of Casey's tweets, vines and anonymous posts trolling a group of online shoppers and other social media platforms under the name Chronic Youth. Stunned at first, Casey then kind of liked it. Meanwhile, Megan tries to call Casey about the tweet, but Casey ignores. Right then, the hacker says that being anonymous gives the privilege of saying whatever they want without being judged, and then sends another link for Casey to click. It turns out to be Megan's profile. Annoyed, Casey tries to call Megan and gives her a voice message about the hacker. The hacker says Megan has been posting photos daily and Casey's so-called BFF has not posted a single photo of her for a whole month, which brings doubt about their friendship and says that he helps victims of cyberbullying. Feeling disturbed, Casey now informs that her dinner is ready and tries to end the conversation, but secretly anticipates a last reply from him. In a second, suddenly, a jump scare video surfaces the screen, making her completely shook up. The hacker now demands her to sit down and to put the phone down. Trembling, Casey looks outside if she is being watched, but turns out the hacker has been watching her every moves through the webcam all along. Before shutting down the laptop, the hacker shows a compromising photo of Casey, but at the same time her dad calls from downstairs. She rushes to close the door, informing her that he is about to leave the house. Casey, now paralyzed with fear, listens to a computer-generated audio of the hacker, informing her that he can listen to her as well. The hacker, to prove his dominance, plays a video of Megan and Casey mocking a classmate, Tamara, about her sexual orientation and uploads it under her account. Casey tries to prevent it, but he succeeds. Casey now watches the uploaded video in disbelief. The hacker reveals a series of nude photographs that Casey took of herself and threatens to post them online if she either leaves the room or answers any calls. Meanwhile, Tamara sends confused messages to Casey's phone. Casey tries to covertly send a message to Megan, but the hacker intercepts it by accessing her phone as well, effectively leaving her trapped and isolated. Impatiently, Casey asks why he is doing this and he replies that he helps victims of cyberbullying. Casey, now furious, asks how is this helping her, but the hacker takes a pause and giggles and then replies that Casey is not the victim, but the cyberbully. Casey, now taken aback, asks him how she is a cyberbully. The hacker explains how Casey's chronic youth activity constitutes cyberbullying and now takes Casey back to her own video of a girl named Jennifer Lee, a former schoolmate, who was trolled mercilessly about her voice, culture and ethnicity. Casey, at first, dismisses his accusations, attempting to justify her actions as being normal for a teenager, but the hacker says that she was the one who initiated this by throwing in the grenade and running. Casey still sticks on with what she said, that all these tomfooleries are normal, but the hacker says, "What then happened to Jennifer?" Casey says she moved away and has no news on her, but a moment later, Casey has doubts that the hacker could be Jen and starts giving an insincere apology. The hacker didn't buy the apology and says that he is not Jen. The hacker then uses a series of videos and screen grabs to tell her the story of Jennifer Lee. He shows a few photos, saying that the girls in these photos dressed up as her in Halloween and were sent to her family members. He then sends a photo of Jen with several cuts on her hand, thinking that this would put an end to the bullying, but it still did nothing. As a result, Jen makes one last video describing about her in detail, that her parents were divorced and was staying with her mom till 8 until she died of ovarian cancer. The video then reveals that she stayed with her dad and his girlfriend, but at school Jen would be made fun of her mother's death, and she found solace going online and singing because she used to sing with her mother. Jen got anxiety and depression, and this led to cutting herself and requests to stop the hate, but the hate continued. Truth was, Jennifer Lee committed suicide 2 weeks later. Filled with guilt, Casey says that the hacker is Jen's dad and has an emotional breakdown, explaining how it is to have anxiety and genuinely apologizes to him, but it still is not who Casey thinks. The hacker demands Casey to make amends and announces that Casey will have to choose either death by taking an antidepressant for each picture to keep them from being posted until she overdoses, or live with the shame that would inevitably follow from the exposure. Casey now takes one pill, but the hacker is not satisfied. He threatens to upload Megan's nude picture, but for a second she hesitated, so he uploads her best friend's one photo, compromising their friendship. Casey now starts to receive calls and messages from Megan. Defeated, Casey prepares to take her overdose, one by one, but then realizes that the hacker giggles in a peculiar way, and it seems familiar. She then tricks him in knowing his identity, saying that no one spells like that, and it was revealed he was the second person to comment on Casey's video. Casey now tries to make a deal with the hacker, saying if he leaves her alone, she would not reveal his identity, but the hacker finds this funny. Meanwhile, the dad now shares a message he received from Megan outside the door and says whatever is happening right now is not her doing and trusts her. Casey, now going through a roller coaster of emotions, suddenly feels nauseated and pukes on the floor and walks to the washroom. Meanwhile, the hacker chastises her to come back and listen to him. Casey now has reached an epiphany and informs him that she does not care if he uploads her pictures and reminds herself to call Megan back and turns to go away, but the hacker now requests her to stay, if so, he would reveal his identity. Casey looks right into the webcam and tells the hacker that his identity doesn't matter to her because once she stops talking to him, he becomes nothing. Casey then closes her computer, cutting the hacker off. Overwhelmed by the hour-long ordeal she has just been through, Casey opens her door and collapses outside. She tearfully calls to her father, who rushes to her. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and comment if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more videos.